Hello folks, today I want to make a video about my Mini Dinky from Jackson. This is actually a standard Mini Dinky as you can buy it in the shops. If you are familiar with my videos, probably you have seen the one before where I changed the bodywork, the artwork. This is just a foil. It's not even painted. But when we bought this guitar right out of the shop, the original color is as ugly green like this Tube Screamer pillow, and I always wanted to change that, and a couple of months or years ago, I do not even remember when I did it, probably half a year ago or so, I put this foil on so it looks nicer, even if I haven't done it perfect, but still better than, way better than before. But actually that is not what I want to talk about. When we bought this guitar, actually I didn't bought it for me. We bought this guitar for my wife, and she wanted to learn guitar, and she's actually a kind of sort of a small person. And as my experience, what I had as when I was guitar teacher in the 90s, I remember a woman who had very, very small hands, and she tried a couple of guitar teachers and they all sent her away and told her she will never learn guitar because her hands are too small. And I told her the solution is we cannot change your hands, but we surely can change the guitar. And so we looked for a 6/8 scale guitar. I guess that is 6/8. That's at least what I used to call them, because they are like 6/8 of the size of a normal electric guitar. So I always got along with 6/8. Anyway, we bought it for my wife, and like many beginners, after like 3 months she gave up and she lost interest, even if she did actually not so bad. She did well, but you know, you want to learn the guitar, takes a lot of time. Anyway, so my wife didn't want it anymore, so I took a closer look at it. And even when my wife was playing with the guitar, we noticed already, you know, this in the shop, what is the new price? 120, 150, at least far below 200, I think. And even when my wife was trying to learn to play the guitar, we immediately figured out there's tremendous problems with the tuning. It never stood in tune. It was, whenever you play a note, no matter what gauge of strings you use, it immediately run out of tune. And I guess if you own one of these particular Jackson Mini Dinkies, you stock right out of the store, sorry, then I'm pretty sure you gamble with the same problems as I am. And I can show you the solution in this video. Ironically is that the parts you actually need cost almost the same as the guitar itself, I think, or maybe half, because it's the Fender roll nut what we have installed here. And now I can see many people raising their hands to the head and screaming, I heard so much bad things about that Fender roll nut, because they say it's hard to install, and with the measuring, people scared they get it wrong. Okay, probably that's the case when you want to install it on a Stratocaster, especially on a Fender Stratocaster, but surely not on this thing. It's super easy. And look, now it's time anyway for me to change the strings. And what I'm gonna do, I take the saddle down from you and show you right from scratch how we did it, because there's a super simple trick, and we get to it later. Okay, before I take off the strings, I just want to explain you all the rest what I did. See, I put some Seymour Duncans in here, not because it was necessary. They were just lying around, and Jesus, if you have better pickups than the stock, so come on, of course, I was going to change it. And just by the way, I made it, you can switch it to single coil. And we have a tone blender here, and then there's just a three-way switch. And in the first thing what I did is I changed the tuners from the stock to these are cloisons, lockers, and I thought it would solve the problem of that the guitar won't stay in tune, but it didn't. It actually, I guess you can. That is just the first thing to mention. I guess you can stay with the stock tuners. They will do the job. The problem is not the tuners. Problem is the nut. And okay, I guess I take down the strings now, and then we take down the nut, and I'll show you how to install it in a minute. So by talking about the use of a 6/8 guitar, of a 6/8 scale guitar, I'm just tearing down the strings here, and I just came up with an idea what I just wanted to tell you what you can do with the 6/8 guitar. So besides that is tiny and very transportable, compact, so to say. No, look, I take down here the strings. They're very heavy gauge, 11th or so, I think, because these were the strings I recently used on my upcoming album Alchemy, and this guitar was used on the track War Bride, which has 3 rhythm guitars in it, 2 Kelly Jacksons, but they are different pickups, and this little sucker here. And the tuning was all a standard D tuning, so we went low, and yeah, it's incredible. This one is very, very good for hard and heavy sounds, and for solo playing too. And there's another cool thing you can do with it. Paul Gilbert told us that. Maybe you know already, but we come to that later. Okay, the strings are down now, and before I continue, I just wanted to show you what tools you need to install the Fender roll saddle. And you need to drill tiny holes for the tiny screws, and I would recommend the Dremel or Familiar tool, electric drill. And then you need this really, really tiny, what is the average, 0.8 millimeters. They're really, really tiny, and you need sort of these, and of course the tiny what is it, cross screwdrivers. Yeah, that's actually all what you need, and maybe a little glue. Come to that later. So before I continue, I first have to clean the guitar because it's very dusty, and then we take off the nut. So okay, I took down the entire Fender roll nut, and see, this is what it actually looks now. So the holes are drilled already, only two holes. And now I'll show you first the parts. This is the actual roll nut, and you see one of these tiny screws inside, and there's the other, will be on the other side, of course. And actually now I guess the next question is how you find out the right string action, the right size. And because if you only take the nut itself, you will find it's gonna be kinda too low, a little bit too low, like this. And so all you have to do is find yourself like a piece of soft plastic, and you just cut out the amount of layers what you need. I only needed one, and this is very thin, probably a little bit double, two pages of paper, I guess 2 sheets. That's the size of this piece. And of course I drilled 2 holes where they have to be, and you just put it here. And this is still too low. And I was thinking, what can I actually do? What can you put underneath that roll nut to have the perfect string action? And probably you will laugh a little. I do not even know how I came up with that idea, but I found a solution in a very simple thing, and that is ball ends. When you take a ball end, I mean, you need at least 2. I would recommend 3 or 4, because that's what we are going here for. We put 2 underneath where the screws are, and I want to place 2 in the middle. See, I had this going on now for like half a year or even longer, and I never glued the ball ends to the guitar. It was also working just with the pressure. But now I wanna make them a little more stable, because I saw some of those in the middle were starting to move, and I don't want to have that again, so we're gonna super glue them. And this is what we're gonna do. All right. Yeah, and it turned out to be the height and the size of these ball ends. I guess they're just super slinkies, 09s, whatever. I guess that doesn't matter anyway, so every ball ends will do, and it just turned out to be, it's the absolute perfect size. Now of course it's a little bit tricky to place them at the right point. Yeah, you know, take your time. You don't have to hurry. So, and then the screws, we go right in there. So and if you have any questions about what direction, look, if here's the headstock, and like this, the upper end, the screws have to point to your headstock, towards the headstock. Okay, and then this is a little bit tricky, but absolutely doable. All right, see, and I'll put some super glue there now, just a tiny bit underneath. No. So almost tight, and then only drop. That's absolutely enough. Find the hole. There we go. And then tighten. And that's it. So, and see, actually we're good to go. I just put now only 2 ball ends because the roll nut is entirely made of solid metal, so it surely will not bend. That is solid as a rock. And actually you're good to go. That was the whole thing. And believe me, when you put on the string, see now you can see probably the string action, what it will be. And you have imagined that there is like, it's like a rod in there, the carve for the strings, where the strings go in. And it's just perfect. Made for super fast playing. Okay, what I'm going to do now, of course, I will put on the strings. And maybe I look for the next days for a good jam track. Because what is the actual fun of the 6/8 guitar is what Paul Gilbert told us, with the extreme bendings what you can do. And that is actually also the reason I need 0.9 gauge strings here. With the 11s, it's really hard. We will change that. So probably see you in the next video then. Goodbye.